fine. Hey, you guys. So a couple of years ago, a suggested video came up on my YouTube, um, and it was a woman who was talking about being ugly and being accepted in society. I watched a couple of her videos. And then I also saw another creator post some similar content. This was more recently. Um, and the other day I was like, I wasn't even in like a conscious, reflective energy. I was just, it just came across in my head, my mind rather, um, about beauty and things that are aesthetically pleasing, like people who are really pretty, certain entertainers, actresses who are musicians or whatever, who are known, are really idolized because of their prettiness, right? And the separation or the difference between being pretty and beautiful, because I used to be one of those people that used to think being beautiful and being pretty was the same thing, and it's a huge difference. Being pretty is when you have features or like that are desired, like you have, you know, whatever, a certain nose, certain eyes. You don't need a lot of extraness. You're just naturally in your natural state, you are super duper pretty. That the majority of the world would see you and be like, oh, you're pretty. That's probably something, you always heard. And beautiful, when you're a beautiful person, it's so many layers to this, in my opinion. It's your heart, the purity of your heart, the purity of your soul, how you love yourself, how you love humanity, and things like that, right? This is just what came to me, right? And how I've been called so many times beautiful in my life, but I haven't been called pretty a lot. I have not been called pretty. And I've been called sexy, attractive, fine, those things. But pretty is something I've really never resonated with. Beautiful, yes. I'm not trying to be like that, but I've been called beautiful tons of times. And so it gave me an understanding, because now I've accepted that I am beautiful. The other day, my soul, well, I'm going to just go back a little bit. Hold on one second. Okay, so let me adjust my dress, y'all. Okay, so the other day, let me just say this. So for a while, it's been I have been guiding my soul. Your inner compass, your intuition has been guiding me to stop wearing wigs. Now, for those that don't know, those hair pieces, those are wigs. I have been wearing those for years. I did a lot of damage to my hair over the years. I had a lot of hair when I was growing up and I was younger. I was known for having like a lot of hair. That's how one of the things that people would describe me as, like, Kimia, she has a lot of hair. And my mother, as best she could, she took really good care of my hair. I ain't even gonna lie, she did. And my hair stayed healthy. But then when I got older, and I was going to the beauty shop. And then when I first started going to the beauty shop, when I started working and, having my own, I was getting it in my natural state, like the wraps, for those who are familiar, like wraps. And then I started dyeing my hair and perming my hair. And I never needed a perm. My mom would put those little children relaxers in my hair, and I never needed it because of the type of just the grade of my hair, but I digress. So anyways, the other day I was guided. It was on me so hard. Like my soul, my intuition was like, stop wearing the wigs, take them off. And because I had become so attached, connected, it's so weird how self-love is so many layers to stuff. But I've become attached to a certain point to wearing fake hair. So I'm like, and I'm talking to myself literally, and I'm like, because all of this side of my hair, and it's been like this for years, is so thin. It's super duper thin. So it's not that necessarily that I have a problem wearing my natural hair. It's just that it looks odd to me. So I have to get myself to a healthy place. I have to clear all the inflammation. I got to do a lot of stuff. As a matter of fact, today I'm fasting. And so it was just on me. So I finally I'm like, okay, I'm not wearing a wig today. I got in the shower, washed my hair, conditioned my hair, and then my son has some gel. So in my hair being in its natural state, bam, I threw the gel in. And then that following day is when I recorded. I think that same day I made a video with my natural hair. Some of you guys saw some of the videos, right? I just did not like the fact that it wasn't even about the fact that I'm wearing my natural hair. It was just that it was so thin, right? So bam, I do the hair. Okay, I like wearing my wrap snap. Okay, that's part of an acceptance. I do feel like I'm going to go back to wearing wigs here now, but I don't feel that attachment to it anymore, which I'm very, very grateful for. And I like how the more you surrender, like the more your soul will guide you towards any and everything that's for you and away from things that's not for you, I say. So fast forward to this past Saturday, my son said something to me. He was in the store, and I was like, he was like, where are we going there for? Because he got to know everything. And I'm like, oh, mom needs to get an eyebrow pencil. He was like, oh, mom, I want you to stop wearing one day you should just not wear makeup. I said, well, I don't wear makeup, son. He doesn't know that this is not considered makeup, eyelashes and eyebrows, refilling in my eyebrows. And then, he just mentioned that. But mind you, my child is the same person who had been encouraging me to wear my hair. Now, the person who did it the most, I ain't gonna lie, was my ex, my children's father. So he was talking about the scientific connection between the hair and, your connection to source. And I used to always tell him, like, I don't need to wear my natural hair to be connected to source because I get all my downloads. And I was right, but he was right too. Okay. So, so Saturday, and I'm just being very transparent with you guys. I don't know no other way, baby. Okay. And y'all gonna be getting a lot. And I ate, and my intention is for this to allow you to grow within yourself in self-acceptance in all areas within yourself. Okay. I took my eyelashes off, wiped my eyebrows off, right? And I had a lot of emotional moments because there were times in my life where I was critiqued very harshly, called ugly, called white. I was called the moon because of my long face. There were so many things that were thrown at me in my life. So many things. And how people always projected, and it seemed like they hit me in those spots where I wasn't fully functional, where I wasn't fully confident. That's what it felt like people would do. And my ex did it probably the most, no lie. He operated in so many levels of his devil energy. And so he would project that energy, but then he would also say things to me that was necessary. It was weird. That was his dual nature. Okay. But yeah, it was just so many things that were projected, and I didn't know as I'm going through this kind of like metamorphosis, another one, like the ascension, I didn't realize how much insecurity was still inside of me, even though I resonate with self-love. You see what I'm saying? But just stripping this off, and it wasn't about doing it because obviously I don't wear these all the time. I don't fill in my eyebrows. I don't wear eyelashes all the time. So I see myself in naked face stage a lot, washing my face, whatever I'm doing in the mirror, right? But it was just the acceptance that came with that and all of that energy kind of dwelling up inside of me, right? And then it started to make sense that I had to, like those videos that came up, those two women that talked about being ugly. And knowing that what ugly truly is, but it's the illusion of how you accept yourself and the society standards of what people place as beauty, right? How people see beauty, and you have to look this certain way and you got to be this. And a lot of that, I'm not that as far as body, as far as face, as far as a lot of stuff, I'm the opposite of how the world and society looks at pretty. Now, are things changing? Yes, I've been. There's times, and my son has noticed that, like, we'll be out in public and just how men receive me, but it's my whole everything. How, you know what I'm saying? Like the doors being open, men staring, all of that stuff. That's the vibration of being a goddess. Me aligning with being a goddess has nothing to do with pretty. Do people say I'm pretty? Yes, people do have said it, but like I said, it's not as much as people have called me beautiful, and now, even now, calling me goddess. This is something, right? And that's been going on for, actually, you know what? There's been a couple of years ago, that was starting calling me goddess, but it's the alignment, you see? And so the more you align, you know what I'm saying? It's the acceptance and it's the alignment. I accept what is the ugly parts of me, the physical parts that are not so pretty. And that aligns with me. That aligns me more with me being beautiful. You dig what I'm saying? It's the acceptance. It's not that I can't come over here and adorn myself and be who this is part of me. I like wearing lashes. I like filling out my eyebrows. I have scarce eyebrows, but it has to be an acceptance at the same time as I'm, you know what I'm saying, adorning myself or dressing myself up the way that I like to do that. It has to be a strong acceptance in that energy. Do you get what I'm saying? And all things accept yourself, because a lot of times, most times, people are looking for people to gratify them, to accept them, to, say certain things to uplift them and make them feel good. And the whole time, all that is lying within. So if you've been in like my situation where people have talked about you or dogged you out in certain things, and I'm not saying these are not the majority of people. I'm just saying there have been people in my life that I've come across that have done these things to me. And you could either let that take form in you, or you can grow through it, grow through that pain, because you're not going to be accepted by everybody. Everybody's not going to think you're gorgeous. I don't care if you are gorgeous. People are not going to think that you are this, that, and the third. It's whatever you think you are, whatever you align with being, there are going to be also people that are going to counteract the energy and think that you're not that. Now, you could say it has to do with their pain and trauma. It most likely does. But at the end of the day, everybody has their own thing. Everybody likes their own shit. Everybody has their own taste, their own whatever, it takes. You're not going to be this for every single person. And that's an acceptance I have to allow within myself. The people I probably wanted the most at time or whatever, there's one particular person in my head. And I was wondering, like, because the person's name was in my head so strong the other day. And I was like, why does this is a person I haven't seen in years. And when I say years, I'm talking about 20 years plus. But this person's name keeps playing in my head, and I had a dream about this person. And I was thinking it was one thing, and now I'm realizing that this person is somebody because we're connected through social media, I'm like, I had such a heavy crush on this person, this individual, right? And it still was that little girl energy of wanting to be accepted if I ever cross paths with this person. And that has to do with my self-esteem, because I remember this person saying something about my teeth when I was younger, and my size, my physical size, so it's the acceptance of this, because if you don't accept yourself, how in the hell is anybody else going to accept you truly and fully? Period. I can do this, but I have to still accept the person that is beyond this, right? Because I do believe in enhancing your beauty as a woman. That is a gift for us. That is something that I feel like is given towards us. It was before Maybelline and L'Oreal and Milani, all these makeup brands was around. The Egyptians were making their own makeup, making their own clay mask, and doing things naturally. So it is a right for a woman to adorn herself the way she wants to, but at the same time, you have to accept you're not throwing it on to go out into the world to feel safe or feel like people need to accept you. It has to be an acceptance within yourself. My mother would tell me certain things, and she had a lot of pain and trauma within herself. But at the same time, my mama had a lot of knowledge and wisdom where she was able to give me certain things in her own way that aided me. And so as my grandmother. and I have to align with these things. I am showing up because they both has ascended to the other side. So I'm standing in the energy of doing what or saying the things that I'm sure that their heart and their soul wanted to say to me, but they didn't know how. And I want to pass that energy and those messages on to you to always accept yourself. I don't care how long it took. I broke down, I cried, I looked in that mirror because this is naked. And I stand in the mirror now just naked, being in this vibration of just, yeah, I accept myself. I love myself. And it's not saying it to convince myself, it's saying it to change and transform whatever else I had inside of me that wasn't in alignment. I hope that this message has been beneficial to you in some sort of way. I love you guys.